The king who lost his crown. Once upon a time, in the land of Wobbleton, there was a king named King Flopdoodle. King Flopdoodle wasn't your ordinary king. He didn't care much for serious things like wars, treaties, or taxes. No, what King Flopdoodle cared about most in the world were his socks. He had thousands of them, striped, polka-dotted, even glow-in-the-dark. But his favorite socks of all were his fluffy, rainbow-colored ones. He called them his royal rainbows, and he wore them everywhere, to royal dinners, on horseback rides, and even while giving royal speeches. One morning, disaster struck. King Flopdoodle woke up, yawned, stretched, and then, gasped. His royal rainbows were gone. Vanished. Not under the bed, not in the wardrobe, not even stuck to the dog. The king searched high and low in his enormous castle, but found nothing. He shouted for his royal advisor, Sir Bumblebee. Sir Bumblebee, the kingdom is in grave danger. My royal rainbows are missing. Sir Bumblebee, who was quite used to King Flopdoodle's strange ways, scratched his head and said, "Perhaps we should start a search party, Your Majesty." "A search party for socks?" King Flopdoodle exclaimed. "Don't be ridiculous. We need a sock detective." So, the king put out a royal decree, and soon, every sock detective in the land gathered at the castle. There was Detective Toe Sniff, Inspector Flufffoot, and even Professor Socksworth, who wore a monocle over his big toe. But none of them could find the royal rainbows. Finally, a small boy named Timmy, who had snuck into the castle to see what all the fuss was about, raised his hand. "I think I can help, Your Majesty." King Flopdoodle looked at Timmy skeptically. "And what makes you think you can solve this great mystery?" "Well," Timmy said, "whenever I lose my socks, they usually end up in my shoes." The king stared at him. "In your shoes?" Timmy nodded. "Yep. Happens all the time. Maybe yours are in your shoes too?" King Flopdoodle chuckled. "Oh, Timmy, you may be small, but you're certainly, wait, what's this?" He bent down and pulled off one of his royal slippers. There, sticking out from the toe, was the corner of something fluffy and rainbow-colored. "My socks!" King Flopdoodle shouted in glee. "You were right, Timmy. They were in my shoes all along." The entire court cheered, and King Flopdoodle did a little happy dance in his royal rainbows. As a reward, he made Timmy the official royal sock finder and threw a grand feast with cakes shaped like socks. From that day on, King Flopdoodle never lost his socks again. Well, almost never. But whenever he did, Timmy was always there to save the day. And they all lived happily and sockfully ever after. The end.